विशालबुद्धे फुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वलितो ज्ञानमयः प्रदीपः। ॐ गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ध्यानमूलं गुरुर्मूर्तिः पूजामूलं गुरोः पदं मन्त्रमूलं गुरुर्वाक्यं मोक्षमूलं गुरोः कृपा। ॐ कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। सद्गुरु भगवान की जय, सच्चिदानंद भगवान की जय, कृष्ण भगवान की जय, गीता माता की जय। हरि ओम। We are discussing Srimad Bhagavad Gita, 5th chapter, and yesterday we were discussing on the 10th sloka. ब्रह्मण्याध्याय कर्माणि संगम त्यक्त्वा करोति यः लिप्यते न स पापेन पद्मपत्रमिवाम्भसा. We are discussing on a very good, bright example, the lotus leaf. Lotus leaf is originated in the water only and lives its whole life in water only, but till the end water does not touch it, nor it is affected by the water. Similarly, ब्रह्मण्याधाय कर्माणि संगम त्यक्त्वा करोति यः. He who does actions, offering them to Brahman and abandoning attachment, is not tainted by sin, just as a lotus leaf is not tainted by water. So the main point is having the God in your heart, your mind is fixed on God, and you have no attachment to the results of your actions, no expectation, and then if you do whatever comes by the way, uninvited or unrejected, whatever comes, indifferently, when you do the needful of the time, you are never involved in the action done by you. You means here it is explained afterwards. Little hints. You means here the Prakriti which is forcing you to be witness of the body, senses, mind, intellect, etc. with the prana. All these are under the clutches of Prakriti. Prakritehi kriyamanani gunehi karmani sarvasaha. Prakriti performs all the actions by the force of three qualities, sattva, rajas, tamas, and thereby the body with the senses activates itself and the mind takes control over it, and intellect helps it to decide what to do, what not to do. And of course, we may not include discrimination in it, though it is within it. It is a part of subtle intellect, but it is little different. It decides and accepts what is permanent and what is impermanent. That means it is attached with the truth in one side and the world on the other side. So discrimination stands on the borderline. If you accuse it, it will step other side. It will slip down, slip away. And if you do not accuse it, then it is doing all the necessaries, whatever is needed for the pure soul, not for the impure souls. So how do you get purity? We have already decided. We have discussed already. Purity means oneness, subtleness, and that is known as purity. Adulteration means mixture of many things. Pure milk means nothing is added into it. Only one object, that is milk. That shows purity is oneness, one-pointed mind, and that is had by continuous practice of meditation. Before it also you have to go through all the process of yoga. Yama, niyama, and asana, steadiness of your body, and pranayam. Without prana nothing can be done, because that is the force behind everything. It activates everything. That is the power behind the action. And of course mind as the commander. And commander-in-chief is the general, is intellect. Indriyani paranyahu indriyevhyah param manah manasastu para buddhi yo buddhehe parasastu saha. When we consider about the self changes its meaning. It is a comparative term in the beginning, but in the end the Supreme Self is one only. So in the beginning when we compare it, means when the senses are compared with the body, senses are superior. Body cannot do anything without the cooperation of the senses. So senses are considered as the self. And when the senses are compared with the mind, mind is superior, is a commander. So mind becomes the self. Self means inner essential reality. That is called self. So self changes its meaning when you compare differently in different situations. And then when mind is compared with the intellect, certainly intellect is decisive power and it is superior than the mind. Without intellect, mind cannot decide anything nor do anything. So superior is the intellect, and which is superior of all, superior most of all, that is the Supreme Self. It is defined as Supreme Self. Supreme Self, Paramatma. It is this Atma Self, Paramatma, the highest Self, which is but one. In this way, we have seen how one gets purity step by step by practice of dispassion and continuation in the practice, replacement by yoga teachings we learn, Pratipaksha Bhavana. So in this way, when a seeker continuously in the going on in the path of yoga, he attains purity. And purity also, step by step, little by little, and in the end, perfect purity. That is, in the meditation, where mind has one thought only. Oneness means purity. So here he says, he who does actions offering them to Brahman, he is not concerned. Whatever he does, it becomes the worship of the Absolute. Because Absolute is there in the mind, heart, everywhere. Everything, all these bodies, senses, mind and prana, all these members of the Cooperative Society, they are purified, they are colored by the color of the self. And abandoning attachment, that also we have seen several times, attachment to the actions, I am the doer, and so I will be the enjoyer of the result of my actions. So expectation, desires, and these desires are read by the thought of your incompleteness. You feel, I am not complete by myself, I lack something. So, to fulfill the need, you create desires, and desires are innumerable, because you never feel, I am complete. This is where we do the mistake in the very beginning. Though you are the part and parcel of the Absolute Truth, just as a spark of fire is fire only, it is not different from fire. Once, if it gets chance, it can burn the whole jungle. One spark is enough if it gets favorable conditions. So, favorable conditions are not by itself. You have to create. That is practice of yoga. You have to struggle for it. Then only you will get the favorable conditions. And you can burn the whole universe by the fire of knowledge. All the actions are burnt into ashes. Even the prarabdha, we have discussed it. Even the prarabdha has no remnants in the end. Karma means all. Karma is used in plural number. All the karmas. What are the types of karmas? Sanchit, prarabdha, kriyamana, and agami. So everything is burnt into ashes when the fire of knowledge dawns in you. No karma can bind you. So sangam tyaktva, without having any attachment. This way, one who performs actions, that means he doesn't perform any actions. In dual form we have to understand. Performs all the actions means does nothing. Because doership is not there. So who is doing the needful? Who is doing all this? The nature. The nature. And you are standing as a silent witness, impartial onlooker. No comment. No comment of a watchman. He has to watch only. So the boy sitting under a tree, he was just sitting all alone. A truck driver was backing the truck. And he asked the boy, "Oh boy, see, watch my truck, is it dashing against anything? Just watch and tell me." Because he cannot see back. It is loaded truck. So the boy says, "No, uncle, not yet, not yet, not yet." When it strikes with the pedal there, yes, now it is. Now it is that against the. I am watching and informing you. He has no comments. So this is how you have to watch. Without any commentaries. No. So now, did you understand what is watching? Wait, what is witnessing? Clarity. Clarity. Just look at, go on looking at it. Keep quiet. No comment. So, such a person doing everything is non-doer. Chapter 4, verses 18, 20, 21, 22, 23, 37, 41. Chapter 5, verses 10, 10 now we are discussing, and 11 also, 12 also. We shall go through it. All these convey the one idea that the yogi who does actions without egoism and attachment to results of its fruits, of the actions, result of its actions, which he regards as offerings unto the Lord, is not tainted by the actions karma. It is seen in the case of Mirabai. Mirabai was offered some poison. He offered it to Lord Krishna. It becomes nectar for her. See the influence, the consequence of offering. And that too should be done wholeheartedly, not forgetting the prasad after offering. Sometimes we do this. Oh Lord, Lord has nothing to say. It is good to worship some stone idols because they don't comment over the offerings. So we get everything back. That should not be the motive. It is offered means offered. So, which he, such a person who offers all his actions to the absolute God as offerings unto the Lord, is not tainted by the actions. He has no attachment even for moksha. Some devotees, of course, they demand something from the God. Till that demand is there, they don't get oneness with Lord. Till the end, Lord gives them some chances to purify to the utmost limit. Utmost limit means oneness with Lord, no expectation. No expectation whatsoever. He sees inaction in action. Karmani akarmajaha pasyet, akarmani cha karmajaha, sabuddhiman manusyeshu. He is intelligent person. Sajuktaha Krishna karma krit. He is praiseworthy, he is real seer, and he does all the actions without doing anything, or doing everything by the help of nature. Just he becomes the witness. He is freed from the round of births and deaths. He gets purity of heart and thought. Through purity of heart attains to the knowledge of the self. Through the knowledge of the self, he is liberated. This is the gist of the above 10 verses, what we have mentioned now. Already we have seen in the 4th chapter how one is unattached, and though he does everything, he is considered to be the non-doer. Now we shall see the next sloka, which clarifies more. Kayena manasa buddhya kevalayir indirapi yoginah karma kurvanti sangam tyaktva atma suddhaye. Somebody asked Tulsidas ji, what for you write all this Ramayana? He says, Swantah Sukhaya. Our great devotee of Lord Shiva, he praises Lord in Mahimna Stotra. He is asked, what for you praise, how can you praise the formless absolute by your words? So he says, I don't know, I cannot pray the formless abstract, but I can pray only God with the forms, because God is cause for everything. All the forms belong to Him. So some special forms I pray. Then what are you praying like this? It is only to purify my speech. If you talk of God, your speech is purified. For that sake only all these glories of the God, all the prayers of the God are made. Only to purify your speech, thereby your mind. When you go on thinking of God in that way, your mind is one-pointed. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva, tvameva bandhus cha sakha tvameva, tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva, tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. O Lord, all the relationships with you go to you only, all the relationships you hold. So whatever I have relationships with the worldly relations, that belongs to you. You are present everywhere. In this way, this prayer makes your mind one-pointed. That is called purification. So, he says, Kayena manasa buddhya kevalaihi indriyairapi yoginah karma kurvanti sangam tyaktva atma suddhaye. For the purification of the self, yogis having abandoned attachment, the first and foremost point, attachment. It is discussed everywhere. Don't forget. Perform actions only by the body, mind, intellect, and even by the senses. For the purification of the self, not to have any other result than this. Of course, you may argue, this is also a desire. You will be attached to purificatory process. How much I am pure? You will ask the certificate. I have done so much. Where is my certificate? That is there within you. That satisfaction of your practice, that is your satisfaction, that is your certificate. Just as you understand by yourself, I have eaten fully. Now no more I can eat. Who tells you? बास करो और मत खाओ. Who wants you? Don't eat anymore. It is known by itself. It is a automatic process. You know by yourself. how much you have progressed. The milestones are within yourself. When you travel in a road, you will go across the milestones. What for they are there? To indicate you how far you have come and how much is left to your goal. So that is in the roadside. So when you go ahead, it is known to you how much you have traveled and how much is remaining. Nobody is there to certify you. Be sure, and your purity you know better than others. Kevalam, this word is used. Kevalaihi indriyirapi. He says, only by free from egoism and selfishness applied to the body, mind, intellect and the senses. Only by this, not with expectation. So we come to the conclusion, and the wise men, they know it. Indriyani indriyarthebhyah vartanta iti dharayan. The senses perform all the actions only for sense sake. There is no other motive behind it. They get the result then and there. And the all controller is niyati, the controller above all. That is called niyati, the eternal controller of the nature. Nature performs every action, and the supremo of the nature is called niyati, one who guides everything in the proper way. There is no injustice there. The impartial controller. So in this way, you should perform all the actions by only your body, senses, mind, etc., without any purpose, by the force of nature, by the help of nature. And nature is a cooperative society. There is not one member, there are so many members. Whole universe get together to perform an action. So, no individual is doer here. How can you claim you are the doer? The whole villagers got together to perform some social work for the village sake, and the village chief goes and claims the money I should enjoy because I have done the work. So what will be the result? Will the villagers leave him? That is the consequence. We enjoy always diseases and other undesirable situations, problems. So the whole world is a house of miseries. Why it is so? It is not so for the person who does everything without any expectation, without any doership. World is full of joy. He amuses in the world. World is made for amusement only. How do you say Dukhalayam asasvatam. For whom? It is only for ignorant persons who claim, I am the doer. See this difference. The same miserable world becomes house of bliss for him who is not doer nor attached to anything. He is just the watchman. Yes, uncle, now it is. It is dashed against something. So in this way, kayena manasa buddhya kevalaihi indriyairapi yoginaha karma kurvanti sangam tyaktva atma suddhaye. Only for the purification process they do all these actions for the senses' sake, for the mind's sake, for the intellect's sake, because they are so restless. At least they will have little rest, not in deep sleep, but in meditation. Yuktaha karma phalam tyaktva santim apnoti naishtikim ayuktaha kamakarena phale sakto nivaddhate. What happens to the other, the opposite of it? Always we have to consider both the sides. Then only when you find fault with the negative side, then only you can cultivate some dispassion. Dispassion towards the persons who do all these actions with some motives, with desires, expectations. What happens to them? Phale sakto nivadhyate. We shall see it. Yuktaha karma phalam tyaktva santim apnoti naishtikim yuktaha kamakarena ayuktaha kamakarena phale sakto nivadhyate. The united one, the well-poised or the harmonized, having abandoned the fruit of actions, attains to the eternal peace. Eternal peace, rest, silence, or in other word we can say the bliss. It is not happiness. It is happiness means there will be opposite unhappiness with it. But it is beyond happiness and miseries. That is called bliss. That is called peace. That is called silence. That is called absolute rest. The united one, the well-poised or the harmonized, having abandoned the fruit of actions, attains to the eternal peace, wherefrom nobody comes down to the restlessness again. The non-united only, the unsteady or the unbalanced person, impelled by desire, attached to the fruit, is bound, he is tied up with the actions and results of it, all these cycle. So cycle is cycle. There is no end to it. Can you have any end of a circle? It is round. No beginning, no end. and where from it begins, it ends there only. So the world is round. Endless cycle, birth and death. The desires grow on, they flourish as much as you support them. Just as you pour ghee, the purified butter, into the burning fire to make it. But what happens in the end, it wants more than before. Similarly, when you fulfill one desire, it gives rise to many other. Just as if you put one seed in the ground to have one fruit, but how much do you get? It multiplies. This is the rule of the world. One becomes many. One in many, many in one is the world. Wherever you find one, there is many within it. There is no absolute one. Absolute is one beyond all these. But in the world, every one is a group, a cooperative society. According to my language, the world is a cooperative society. There is no single one who does anything. So one in many, many in one. Unless the whole body get together, the body, senses, mind, intellect, prana, is it not a society? Without the help of one, can the work be performed? If you have no prana in the body, can you do any work? If you have no mind, can you do any actions? If there are no senses, is it possible to perform any action? So everyone should get together cooperatively, help each other, then only some event can be performed. So, is it not a cooperative society? Triangular cooperative society. The whole world stands upon these triangles. Three qualities and three Vedas. Three pardon? Three lokas. And here in the body, the fourfold mind, prana, and the body. Threefold cooperative society. Fourfold mind, mind, intellect, and the subconscious mind, which is the storehouse of all the seeds, supporter of all the actions, and of course without ego nothing is possible. This ego is a multi-faced person. Anytime it can take any form. So it is ever-changing identity. So by this way, all the actions are performed. So, yuktaha karma phalam tyaktva, one who is united, yuktaha, united with the Supremo, always the God in his mind and heart. That's how he is taken as a united one. He is never detached from the absolute truth. Karma phalam tyaktva, and he has no attachment for the results of the actions. Santim apnoti naistikim. Naistikim means it is the result. Actually, nishtha means continuity in your practice without any break. That is called nishtha. Naistikim, one who has performed it, he is entitled to get the result. So that is the final end. This way, he attains to the absolute end of everything. That is called Santim, the peace, the eternal, unbroken, continuous peace. Santim Naistikim is interpreted as peace born of devotion or steadfastness. Steadfastness is called nishtha. Nishtha means continuity in your practice. The harmonious man who does actions for the sake of the Lord without expectation of the fruit of his actions, and who says, I do actions for my Lord only, not for my personal gain or profit, attains to the peace born of devotion through the following 4 stages. That is purity of mind, the attainment of knowledge, renunciation of actions, and steadiness in wisdom, establishment, firmly convinced and firmly established on the truth, not for a second, not for a moment, he is without it. That is called steadfastness. But the unbalanced or the unharmonized man who is led by desire and who is attached to the fruits of his actions, and who says, I have done such and such an action, I will get such and such a fruit, is firmly, surely bound to the cycle of birth and death. Yes, yes. So tomorrow we shall see further on this subject. We shall go ahead. Sarva karmani manasa sanyasaste sukham vasi navadvare pure dehi naiva kurvan nakarayan. So we shall see it tomorrow. All the qualifications of both the sides. What are the qualities of a renounced soul and what are the qualities of the opposite, totally attached to the world. I and my. This is the world. Tomorrow we shall see further. Hari Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। सद्गुरु भगवान की जय। सच्चिदानंद भगवान की जय। कृष्ण भगवान की जय। गीता माता की जय।